Hello and welcome, guys. Today we are going to discuss one more interesting topic in .NET Core, which is dependency injection. We are going to deeply understand what is dependency injection, how our traditional method work, and how we are converting the traditional way to injection service way. So before going the practical session, guys, let's see what is dependency injection and what is dependency first. Guys, if you are new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell icon for future notification. And if you ended up liking my video, give me a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Let's get started. So what is dependency? First, understand a dependency is an object that an object depend on. .NET support dependency injection or DI software design pattern, which is a technique for achieving inversion of control between classes and their dependency. Dependency injection in .NET is built-in part of the framework, along with the configuration, logging, and option pattern. There are three types of dependency: constructor injection, property injection, method injection. Constructor injection said, in the constructor injection, the injection supply the service or dependency through the client class. In property injection, the injector supplies the dependency through the public property of the client class. And method injection, in this type of injection, the client class implement an interface which declares the methods to supply the dependency, and an injector use this interface supply dependency to the client class. Guys, you need to remember all these definitions line by line. This is an important interview question also. So in our previous what we are doing, class A, class B, then A use some method of B, then we just declare a object, then method name. Let's do the same thing first, then we will modify it to dependency injection. So here I am using Visual Studio 2022. Create a new project. Guys, forgive about the background noise. There's something going on, some party or function nearby. So DI test, I given dependency injection test. Next, I am not keeping HTTPS. Let's create the application. So our application is created, the default application. Let's run the application and see how it is working. By default, we will get a weather forecast service and weather forecast service controller. So we have here get weather forecast service, try it out, execute. So you can see our data is coming. So how this thing happening? You can go to controller weather forecast service, which is using this model weather forecast model, and inside this, here it is returning the list. So now I'm going to modify this. So I'm going to return a list, and also here also list. Okay, but I'm going to add one more folder here, service, and I'm going to demonstrate our traditional way, services. So here I'm writing a weather forecast service R class, weather forecast service here. I'm just moving this data to our weather forecast service. and this returning data to here also. So get weather forecast. Now I don't need this. What I can do, I can do like directly like the weather forecast service obj equal to new weather forecast service, right? So we need to using the folder name, service name. So here, okay. Next, return obj dot get weather forecast. So it will by default, it will go to our definition. You can see it will go to here. So this is our traditional method, creating an object of the class and using this. So let's run this application and see it is or not. If it is working, then we will move to dependency injection. So it is working fine. Now move to dependency injection. So dependency injection said the injector class, it will inject to the client and it will inject to the service, and client will use our service. The core idea of dependency injection is, and this is the final stage. This is the final stage of the solid principle, which state high level of module should not import anything from the low level of module. Both should be depend on abstraction, that is interfaces. Abstraction should not depend on details. Details concrete implementation should depend on the abstraction. Next, we will go to our Visual Studio. We will add some interface and we will see. So here I am going to add a new folder which is interface, and now I am going to keep interface name I weather forecast, new item, interface. So I am going to give I weather forecast here, and I am going to give this particular, right? So this is our method declaration, and here we can directly call that I weather forecast service. In this class inherit this interface. So we need a using statement here. So this is the implementation of this method. This thing is done. Now let's go to our program.cs file. Here we can add builder.services.art scope. I will come to what is scope. So here I am giving my I weather forecast interface, and next is my service. It will ask for the using statement. It will ask for the using also. So we have injected this weather forecast, I weather forecast interface and this service using art scope. To injecting the service, we have three methods, which is art scope, art transient, and art singleton. So let's understand what is this. Art transient, the transient lifetime service are created each time they are requested. This lifetime work best for the lightweight and stateless service. Guys, remember this. An art scoped lifetime service are created once per request. In singleton service lifetime are created for the first time they are requested. or when the configure service is run, if you specify instance there, and then every subsequent request will use the same instance. So these are the three different R services: transient, scope, and singleton, by which we can inject our service. So here I added a scope here. Next thing, let's go to our controller. So here it is my controller here. I don't need this line of code now. Where I'm going to do, I'm going to create private read only so I'm giving the name as underscore forecast. We need to add the using statement here. Oh, sorry. Right? And in the weather forecast constructor itself, here I am adding one more, that is forecast. And now in the constructor, I'm adding forecast underscore forecast equal to forecast, right? So here in this case, I can directly write return underscore forecast dot get weather forecast. So this is, if you right click, go to the definition, so you can see it is going to the declaration section. Go to implementation, it is going to our service, which is inheriting our interface. So let's run the application and see it is working or not. So let's see, execute. Yeah, it is also working. So in our first we saw the default where logic is creating by in the controller. Next we see a third party class. We are just creating instance. Next we created an interface, added the skeleton part, inherit the interface, and implemented the skeleton or the method definition, and we went to the program.cs file. Here we added R scoped, or we injected the service. Next we went to our controller. In controller we created the service instance private read only. Next, directly returning from the method. So in this way we can do dependency injection in our ASP.NET Core Web API. Guys, if you like my video, give me a like and share this video with your friends. Thank you very much.